Hey everybody, this is Everything is Fine, Everything is Ruined, a podcast about stuff. I'm your host, Tristan. Joining me as always is Hassan. Here to talk about something I don't care anymore.
You okay, buddy? You seem kind of sad.
Hassan, I just came to a realization today that I want to be the very best. But I have all these reports to file. And I can't do that and be the very best at the same time. It's just, life's getting me down, man. I just need, like, something to help me out, you know? Something to help me be the very best.
Have you tried just, like, walking out the front door and going on a journey?
No, I haven't, but that sounds pretty good. I mean, I was hoping for like a little buddy to help me on the journey. That'd be nice. Can I get like a little buddy? A little friend?
I don't know how to... Tristan, you're a little bit old to get your little buddy friend, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we can't only give those out to 10-year-olds.
But could I just go and get one? I got money.
You could get one on your own.
Okay, yeah.
You're not going to get one from the nice professor who lives in your town.
No, that's fine. He can do whatever. I just want a little buddy to help me out on my fun adventure and journey.
Okay, yeah, we could probably find you like a rat and paint it yellow.
Okay, cool. I was hoping for like a fun little ghost, like a mischievous little friend that would like help me file those reports, but then also like,
how about a ghost that is
yeah.
It's less of a it's technically a ghost, but it's more the specter that represents the sorrow of forgotten toys.
Okay.
Okay, if you're not feeling that one, how about a ghost that's also kind of like a hot air balloon?
Okay.
That will drag children off to their death.
Perfect. I hate children.
Okay, great. Then you're going to love that one.
Excellent. I was hoping for like a mischievous little scamp anyway. And that sounds pretty mischievous to me. So, and if that's just like in his nature, I can't be blamed for anything. So, I'm fine with that. What do I call this fun little guy?
Drift Blim.
Weird name, but okay. Drift Blim. Sure.
Like drifting blimp. Drift Blim.
Yeah, I kind of get it. It's a little portmanteau and drifting blimp. Yeah, I get it. So it's a little balloon that like hauls kids off to their deaths, right?
Uh-huh.
Cool. Like a golden eagle style. Like it'll like pick them up and drop them. Or
it's unclear because
somewhere.
It's just like 2 lines of text on it.
So is that all we know about it? Just 2 lines of text?
Mostly, yeah. I mean, we have multiple 2 lines of text, but we only really get like 2 lines of text at a time.
You know, I feel as if somebody should it should be somebody's job to research these fun little buddies.
Oh, it is. 10-year-olds.
Oh. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Explains a lot. So 10-year-olds go and research these fun little friends, and they give that information to who exactly?
The professors.
Okay, so actual professors, the ones that give the 10-year-olds also their own friends, their little buddies. Like, they go off and then report back to the professors, and these professors do what with the information?
Well, they give us lines of dialogue, like, there was once an incident in which a man took a trip riding a drift blim, only to go missing.
Okay.
There's a rumor that if you catch a drift blim floating on the wind at dusk, you'll be carried away to the afterlife.
Go on.
The raw material of the gas inside its body is souls. When its body starts to deflate, It's thought to carry away people and Pokemon.
Cool. You know, yeah, I had my duds with the Drift Blim. I'm back in. I'm all in on Drift Blim. So, okay, yeah. This explains a lot. That's actually more than I thought there was about on this Pokemon. So that's good. Still, though, I'd like to know, like, you know, genealogy, as far as like how it evolves. Also, the science behind why there are ghosts in this world.
Oh, yeah, no. The professors are really more focused on just the 2 lines of text, really.
But they're professors. Are they not writing papers on these things? Because
I don't think
job.
we've ever come across a university.
Really?
We have come across schools.
Okay.
But I don't think we've come across any universities in this world, so...
Why?
I don't know if I'd say they're actually credentialed.
I mean, they should be. I mean, if they're a university, they should have credentials into the research of
it's
little
unclear
buddies.
if there's even a government of much of a kind. So
Weird.
I think there's mayors, but that's about it.
Weird. Well, this all sounds frustrating and complicated. So, please tell me we're here to talk about something other than this today.
Oh no, bad news. We're here to talk about Pokemon. Specifically, we're here to talk about the end of the Ash Ketchum time as the anime protagonist. Yeah, you're going to have to put your headphones back on.
I don't want to. No, I don't.
Well, the doors are locked until
gonna,
we're done, so you're not going to be able to leave.
I'm just gonna...
No, you'll find the door is locked. You can't get out.
I'm out.
Now, you can go to the side, but until we're done, you're not escaping, so
I'm trying to pick the
you're
lock.
just screwed.
I'm trying to pick the lock.
Oh, no, that's not... There's a bomb on the other side of the door.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, you're going to have to hear about the final days of Ash Ketchum.
Oh, is he dead? Is he dead?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, fine.
And also, I suspect this isn't the last we actually see of Ash Ketchum.
I'm assuming he's a ghost Pokemon now. So.
He has become one, in fact, but that was in season 1 of the series back in the 90s. Elaborate,
please. Just briefly on that.
There is an episode where he meets the so this is in the original series, the original 151 anime,
sure.
And he meets the only ghost Pokemon at that time, Ghastly Haunter Gengar.
Yep.
And they end up pulling his soul out of his body and going around and having fun hijinks, spooking his friends and stuff.
So so that makes him a Pokemon, though.
Well, no. But
okay.
Right.
So he's a ghost.
Yeah.
But not quite a Pokemon.
Probably not. We don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Elaboration over.
Yeah. So
Ultimate Journeys,
give a little bit. Yeah. So we're not talking about... I will touch a little bit on it. We're not talking about all of Ultimate Journeys because that is 57 episodes. We're primarily focused on episode 1224 in Japan, 1213 in North America, through to 1234 in Japan, 1223 in North America. So
please tell me those were
10 episodes.
Season number, episode code, as in season 12, episode 13, and not
no. This is season 25, so, and it is episode 1224, not including special episodes.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm glad we're not talking about all of that. How is it that you always get into things that have thousands of episodes? Thousands.
I mean, look, I'm not that. Look, I keep thinking about how I wish I could get into Gundam, but then I keep going, I don't have room in my life for Gundam. Between things like Sentai and Pokemon and Formula One, I just don't have the capacity for another all-consuming interest like this.
I don't blame you.
I look at Gundam, I go, man, I have watched I basically watched all of the Gundam from Seed before, and then Seed was so bad I kind of gave up on the series.
There's like 2 points where I'm like, okay, Seed's pretty good. Oh, nope.
No. But yes, you're right. I do get into big things. But no, Ultimate Journeys is season 25. The seasons are a little bit weird because generally when we think about Pokemon, we typically think about them in their generations. So,
yeah, of course.
And it gets a little bit weird because, like, season 1 was 82 episodes and was just called the Indigo League. And that was basically just the red and blue games. You could maybe argue the Orange Island, blah, blah, blah. But a little bit of preamble. So, Journeys is the series set in the Galar region. That would be Generation 8, Sword and Shield.
Oh,
it's the
yeah, of
Pokemon
course, yes.
version of Great Britain, effectively.
Chip cheerio.
No, I mean, I didn't watch all of it, so I did actually try and watch Journeys. So I like check in on Pokemon every now and again. I'll watch, a couple episodes from each series just to see. And I when Journey started, I went, you know what? Why don't I try and start this one from the very beginning?
Yeah.
And basically, it starts off, and it's, the narrator being like, this is Ash Ketchum and his Pikachu on their journey headed toward Galar. And then, like, 30 seconds later, it's just like, what's this? They've come across a Pichu, the baby form of Pikachu. And I 100% get that Pokemon is targeted at kids.
Yeah,
it
is.
Always been targeted at kids. And that this show is always intended for them. But as somebody who has known about Pichu for over 20 years, having this show try and explain the basics of Pichu is just like, okay.
I kind of feel
this cartoon's not for me anymore. I'm an adult who's been into this series forever. This is targeted at kids. That's fine.
I have kind of a theory that kids sort of erupt out of the womb knowing what Pokemon is and how it all works.
At this point, probably, yeah. But I get why they do that. So I didn't really watch Journeys. However, when they kind of announced this would be the end of the Ash stuff, I decided to watch that. And the reason that it's the end of the Ash stuff is in the previous series, which is Sun and Moon, and then there's Ultra Adventures and Ultra Legends. This is the series where Ash finally... and the series is called Sun and Moon. Those were the names of the games before that. That is Generation 7 in the Alola region, which is basically Hawaii. Ash finally wins his championship. He finally gets to become a Pokemon champion. And so
it only took him 25 years, you piece of crap. You're 35 now.
No. It only took him like 21, 22 years ish. Because the original series started
26.
airing in April of 97, and then the Sun and Moon series ended November of 2019. So I'm not sure exactly if he got the championship in the last episode or before that, but roughly 22 years.
So Ash Ketchum is like 33, 32 years old.
No, he's 10 years old. Hasn't aged a day.
I reiterate.
Literally has never had a birthday episode in the show.
As far as we know, this all takes place in one day for him.
Look, we'll get into it. It's why it gets a little bit weird with the series. But he finally won that championship. So then it's like, wow, what do you do with Galar? It kind of can't be like, hey, here's just this guy who has won it. He is a Pokemon champion, the elite of the elite. And no, he's just going to go through and, fight the gym leaders again as a rookie.
I mean, you kind of can.
It doesn't work. So what they did with the Journey series is instead... it ends up being this contest of who is effectively the champion of champions. So the champions of all the former regions end up having these battles. And surprise, surprise, Ash wins that. The final comes down to him and the champion of the Galar region, Leon. The actual fight between them, they do some real anime nonsense that I appreciate where... So it comes down, they each have one Pokemon left. Ash's Pikachu Leon's Charizard.
Yeah.
There's a moment where like
All right.
Ash's Pikachu takes a hit and it kind of passes out, and it wakes up in just this sort of like realm of just whiteness around him, and then
Hell yes.
oh, there's all of Ash's other Pokemon, and they're like cheering on Pikachu, you know, being like, "Yeah, Pikachu, get up, you can do this.
Get up,
And
man.
so, like,
We love you."
Pikachu, you know, its
Get the
eyes
robot.
are groggily open, and it's you know, it's getting up, and then all of a sudden the actual original series kicks in. The I wanna be the very best as Pikachu goes to the fight. Like, yeah, okay, this is
Okay.
triggering stuff for me.
That's cool. That's cool.
And so Ash wins the championship. There's some stuff where they wrap up the story with the companions that he has had in this series, GOH.
Cool.
It's like that stuff's
Cool.
fine. I didn't care for it, but
Yeah, sure.
once they kind of wrap that all up of all the stuff he has in that region, we then get into this point where it's basically kind of Ash just trekking back home, and somewhat of a, hey, it's going to be Ash meeting back up with all of his past Pokemon pals and friends like Misty and Brock.
Pokemon pals, yeah.
It's hey, we're just gonna give you a lot of fan service of here's the thing you remember from a previous, but like one of the problems I have with it is just how it is still written, where I think it is the very sort of first episode in this 1224, the road most traveled. I might be wrong. It might have been like 1 or 2 episodes before this, but it's basically Ash setting out on his own without anyone else. He's walking through this forest, and I forget if it's, and he comes across like a bunch of Pokemon. I forget if it's an Abra or a Poliwag, which are both from Generation 1. They are both in Red and Blue from 97.
Yeah.
And Ash is just like, whoa, an Abra. My guy. Look.
Wait, fuck.
I understand.
I just
that-
realized what you said, and
I understand that he is a kid.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
even as an adult, people, look, you see 1,000 cats in your lifetime, 1,000 dogs, and you still get excited to see one.
Well, yeah.
But the expression that he has of this, oh wow, it's cool to see one of these things, when you have God knows how many of these things you have seen throughout your journey, how many you have fought, how many you have just walked past on the street, whatever it is, somebody owns one, a restaurant you've sat down in and somebody had theirs out, you know. But you are also the champion of champions. You are the top echelon trainer, and for you to just be going, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this thing that's super common and basic in this world.
Two things. First off, don't bring Abras to restaurants. They will bend all the spoons, first off.
Well, that's a Kadabra and Alakazam. Although an Abra probably still would do that.
Probably still would do that. Second off, now I'm assuming Ash is not just like full on, just like stoked because he just loves Pokemon that much. There are people that just love animals so much.
Oh no, it's just because he loves Pokemon that much. It's not because he's super into an Abra or Poliwag.
Okay. So I'm assuming in this case, I'm going to just use my mind's eye imagination kind of thing. I'm going to say that Ash Ketchum at this point is Pokemon's equivalent of Steve Irwin. Fair?
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Like super pumped to see an animal at all.
Yes,
loves them.
You're not wrong. The main problem is it's just they're still writing him as if, in many cases, he's rarely seen one of these. It goes back to that. I get it. It's for kids. There are kids watching this show who Sword and Shield were their first games. They maybe saw an Abra or a Poliwag five times.
Yeah, sure.
Playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more than that, but it's still it's how I would react to the newer Pokemon. Like, oh, cool, it's one of these. Like, I haven't seen many of this. It's new to me.
Yeah.
But for this character who's just been on these journeys across all these different regions, seen all these different ones, it's just like, I know they can't write him as a 30-year-old man, which is what he should be. He should be my age, basically, but...
I would I do kind of want to see an old haggard, like... Well, no, here's the thing. He would not be old. He would not be haggard. A 30-year-old Ash Ketchum who is just like... Who is totally the Steve Irwin of his area, of Pokemon, and is just chasing down dangerous Pokemon and grappling them like a madman. I would fucking kill to see that.
Yeah, that'd be alright.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Like, if they should do like a Pokemon like 20 years later, like new kid on the, like doing his thing meets Ash Ketchum. This is what happens. This is Ash Ketchum.
I don't think they will ever do that.
It's fair.
Closest they would probably do is in the games, because Ash is clearly based off of the protagonist from Red and Blue.
Protag,
so
yeah.
In the games, the protagonist's canonical name is Red.
Red, yeah.
And his friend, Blue. Those are their canonical names. Or
vice versa.
No. It's
always
actually,
Red
no,
that's right. If you play...
Blue is always your, like, Gary.
Yeah, if you that's right. If you play as Blue, it does sweep the yeah.
And in the games, they pop up every now and again, and they have kind of like age them. They're no longer kids; they're adults, and they are viewed as like, top tier echelon champion level. Yeah,
sure,
people.
Makes sense.
But you said like, oh, Ash Ketchum is the Steve Irwin. These last episodes, boy, they just hammer that home. So Ash eventually gets joined by Misty and Brock, and he runs into a couple of his other friends along the way,
pals.
like
Officer Jenny.
What was that guy's? We run into an Officer Jenny, involving a ghost Pokemon, actually a Banette, which is the ghost that is the embodiment of a forgotten toy. Silent, that's like another one of the friends. But like while he's on this journey, all his friends just keep hammering home this idea of like, yeah, that's the Ash we know and love, the guy who'll do anything for a Pokemon, put his own life in danger. He just loves Pokemon so much, and he's so hyped about them. Like, guys, I get it. You don't have to do this every episode. It's okay. We get who Ash is. We know who Ash is.
Yes.
Even if Journeys is your first series, you've still watched 100 episodes with him. We don't need you to just say it in plain English this way.
No, he's had like 20 plus years of character development. I think we understand who Ash friggin' Ketchum is. At least I hope so. Like,
we do, but even kids who this is their first series, I think are going to understand who Ash Ketchum is.
Yeah, he likes Pokemon. We get it.
Yeah.
I'm 10 and I love it. Yeah, I understand this.
So, slight tangent.
Yeah.
So, the final episode with Ash airs March 24th, 2023. The final episode. So, that's when it airs in Japanese.
Yeah, okay.
Now, for me, I don't want to watch the Pokemon anime in Japanese, and the main reason is because I know Pokemon by their English names. So
yeah,
when I hear, say, Squirtle, I want it to be Squirtle, not Zenigame. That I don't want to.
I did not know that was his Japanese name.
I just had to look it up because I don't know the names of Pokemon in Japanese.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to learn those. I don't honestly have any skin in the subs versus dubs thing. I think most dubs are fine at this point. I understand why people
I like dubs.
didn't like dubs back in the 90s and early 2000s, because a lot of those were not particularly well done. They didn't spend money on dubs.
No, the voice acting back then was not very good. You're right. Yeah, but it's fine now. So, it's good
to
now,
the people who want to watch subs, do you know what the Pokemon Company says to them?
What?
Suck it, we don't have any official subs.
What? Oh,
yeah.
Like none? Like not even like on Crunchyroll or?
Nope. No. You want to watch it in Japanese with subs, you better be Japanese living in Japan watching the television broadcast, because we don't want to put this out with subs. And then
man.
So for the people who want to watch it dub.
Yeah.
So again, March 24th, 2023 that came out.
Yep.
Tristan, take a wild guess when the dub version came out.
It is one of the options. It's not even out yet.
No, it did come out.
Okay. Yesterday.
No, good news.
August.
It was early in that. It was around July 20th.
It wasn't far off. Okay.
Although, according to Wikipedia and other places, the U.S. broadcast of it isn't until September 8th of 2023.
European broadcasts sometimes get picked up earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I watched it pirated, I'm going to be honest. So
you what? No, you didn't. You watched it legally like everybody else does. That's the only thing.
So for those of us who wanted to watch it dub, it took 4 months. 4-month gap between the Japanese release and the dub of it.
Now,
and I have no idea why. Absolutely none.
Now, here's a question. So, I know that official subs are, very much a thing these days. Like, there's no reason for fan subs. Is this one of the instances where fan subs could potentially, have been a thing? Or were there fan subs for this at all?
Oh no, there are fan subs. Absolutely.
Good.
If you want to watch this, a couple days after the episodes come out in Japanese with subs, you can absolutely find those. Don't worry about that. For example, new series, Pokemon Horizons, the one that is set in the current games, Scarlet and Violet universe, Paldea, which is basically Spain/Portugal, I believe.
Portugal.
That started airing in April of this year. The dubs are still not out for that. Over 4 months later.
Come on, what? Okay, well, maybe they're just waiting for it to really get picked up or something. Like, there's got to be a reason for them doing that.
It just hasn't come out yet. Yeah, it sucks.
Pokemon Company has too much control over this shit. I don't know why they want to maintain that sort of iron grip.
I have no idea why it's so delayed. There's no valid reason for it.
Too weird.
It's also one of the things that people complained about online was how the official Pokemon sort of social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. The English ones were tweeting about how when Ash beat Leon and became champion of champion, and people what? Why are you tweeting this when we can't see this? Are you trying to encourage piracy on this? Because
get hyped.
You're basically tweeting a thing where you're basically just saying check out this thing that you won't be able to watch in your language for 4 months.
Exactly.
It's
Ash Diddley became champion. But we can't watch that.
So that is a weird thing about
you don't say. Yeah,
these episodes.
I'm used to okay, for instance, there are other shows that have I would say there are other anime that have more complexity in the writing and more complexity in the requirements for the voice acting that Pokemon does. Not saying it's not a well acted show, just saying.
No, you're right. Kids. In terms of emotional depth.
Yeah.
Right. Pokemon doesn't really have that.
Exactly. And I know that, like, these other shows, even though, of course, they are smaller seasons than Pokemon typically would be, I believe, you know, they do still do, like, if not a simul publication for subs and dubs, they will have, like, the dub come out, like, I think, like, 2 to 3 weeks later.
Sometimes even less. I think.
Yeah, sometimes 1 week.
It's 1 week. Yeah. Tristan, you want to know the fun part is? I
do.
They finish recording the dub lines like months before the episodes come out. Like the actress who voices Ash, she had like posted on social media about how like, yeah, I recorded my final lines, and it was like, I forget when that was, but that was months ago, kind of thing.
So they record their lines, and it takes.
And then the Pokemon Company just sits on the episodes. I have no idea why.
Why are they so controlling over this?
So here's the weird thing: is they terrestrially broadcast these things. So like they have deals with, I think it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think so.
They broadcast it through. So it's also this weird thing of like, you would think Warner Brothers would be putting pressure on them to get that stuff out quicker.
I would assume.
I don't know. Maybe it's a weird thing that it's like the reverse, and they're getting pressure from the broadcasters to not try and like. Oh,
that'd be okay. Well, that
do because like I don't know if this is some weird thing that it's like, well, hey, the anime has kind of always just been behind by months, and they would have to like, dump like 10 episodes in a row to catch up or something, and the broadcast like, no, we don't want to do that. But no idea. They've never really acknowledged or said. It's just a weird thing that is annoying.
So, okay. One other theory, as we have stated, if it is Warner Brothers that owns,
well, for U.S. right,
for the U.S.
There's, multiple regions, etc. Europe, Australia, South America, blah blah blah.
Yeah, if it's WB, if it's Warner Brothers, then like I said, they could have their own controlling rights in that case. However, I mean, if it is WB, we have kind of discussed this where like the people who run Warner Brothers seem to just don't give a crap about cartoons anymore.
Oh, at the very top,
if it is them,
they probably, let's be real, those people probably don't even realize that they broadcast Pokemon, right? That's like 3 or 4 rungs down the ladder before you get to somebody who's like, yeah, this is part of our scheduling, blah, blah, blah. We help handle the release of this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's a weird and annoying one, but it's not like, oh, man, oh, no, hey, super spoil. Like, you could say the one time it's super spoilers was the Alola region where Ash won the championship, because otherwise Pokemon's going to be fairly predictable. True.
So I'm just posting this on the screen right now for everybody to see. I have it kind of like unrevealed, but so it turns out it's Netflix.
Netflix also does like the digital streaming of it. But I believe Warner Brothers handles the what's known as terrestrial.
Oh, I mean like the actual like to cable network. I see what you mean.
Yeah. The people who are subscribed on cable, they handle that part. I believe it's been a while since I bothered looking at any of that stuff because I don't care enough. And it doesn't really impact me too much. Getting back to the actual meat and potatoes of the show itself. Plot-wise, there's really not too much to talk about these episodes. So there is a slight story arc that's happening here where Ash comes across this injured Latias. Have to remember, there's Latias and Latios. They are Gen 3 legendaries. They're basically like, what if Pokemon were planes? One's red, one is blue.
Oh, those things. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Go on.
He comes across one that's injured, ends up helping it, but it distrusts human, and then it's basically just following him around, watching him as he's sort of selflessly helping these Pokemon. So, for example, there's a Whalmer, which is a small whale Pokemon that likes to bounce, and this one bounced down into this hole, so Ash and friends have to help it escape. Or there's another episode where there's a bear trick, which is this bear that has these ice powers, and in this case the bear has trouble controlling it, so none of the other Pokemon want to be around it because it'll accidentally bear tick. I always want to say bear trick. It's bear tick. Beartic.
Like Baratic? Like he's a heretical bear?
No, I forget what the tick part stands for. Arctic. So like bear and Arctic. Yeah. So like, he helps that out by learning to control its powers. And so this Latios is just following him around. Eventually it learns to trust him, reveals that Latios and it were captured by let me see, what do they call them here? It's like Pokemon hunters?
Poachers? Pokepoachers.
No, I don't think they call them
poachers. Ooh, I hate them.
Yeah, Pokemon Hunter, that's the term. Okay. He's just some, like, rando dude that, like, Ash beats in that episode and frees the two. And you're like,
sure.
Okay. This arc seemed completely unnecessary and pointless. Don't really think I needed it. But throughout it, hey, Ash is getting to see all of his old kind of Pokemon and friends. So, for example, there's an episode where they come across the Squirtle Squad, which was this group of Squirtles from the original series. So, hey, in the original, Ash got a Squirtle, a Bulbasaur, and a Charizard. The Squirtle Squad was originally this group of Squirtles that were kind of abandoned, so they became these hoodlums. And then eventually they turn their lives around by becoming these cool firefighters that wear sunglasses.
Cool as hell.
Squirrel, this one Squirtle decided to join Ash. It then instead eventually went back to its pals. They show up. This one's fun for me because the Squirtle Squad do like this Sentai theme with it, where they're wearing like colored spandex suits. But this episode's kind of weird because the Squirrel Squad are going around. They are effectively these celebrities going around doing sort of like PSA style things about the dangers of fire and, what kids should do and blah, blah, blah. And Team Rocket end up tricking the Squirtle Squad into thinking Ash doesn't want to see them. But, like, one of the weird things about this is, here's the Squirtle Squad, and everybody's awestruck. And you're like, okay, there is Ash Ketchum, the champion of champions. And the crowd's just ignoring him like no one knows who he is.
Who's this kid?
And, like,
Get on your kid.
It's there is nothing in our real world that is comparable to Pokemon. The closest thing would be, football / soccer, right?
Football.
Like, I was going to say that sort of football, soccer is the closest, but the problem is in places, say, like America, Canada, couple other small places like that.
Yeah.
You would have regions where, like, realistically, somebody like a Cristiano Ronaldo, a Lionel Messi, and Neymar Jr., they could walk around where we are, and there would definitely be people who would recognize them and be starstruck.
Yeah.
But it would be a much lower percent of people than if they were, say, in England or in, India or in Saudi Arabia. Like, any of these places where this is the biggest sport in the world,
right?
They're just gonna be mobbed. But the difference of the Pokemon world is there is not a single town, city, place that isn't into Poke battling, that doesn't follow it and know these people. And so
their entire
it's
life.
This weird moment that, like, Ash is there, and then it's literally the very end of the episode, Ash clears things up with Squirtle, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden this crowd just comes right and they're like, oh my God, it's Ash, the Pokemaster. Where were these people the entire rest of the time? Why doesn't this happen in multiple episodes?
Wait a second, is that Ash Ketchum? No, it can't be.
Yeah, like,
no way.
It's a little bit weird of him going through these towns and places. And you're just like, no one's recognizing him. That is weird.
That's going to feel bad. That's going to feel really bad.
No, because he is a pure-hearted child of 10.
Emotionally stunted, I agree.
This show wants to hammer home. He is pure-hearted, and you're just like, okay.
That doesn't mean he doesn't hurt. Like, that's because you're pure of heart doesn't mean you can't go like, well, I kind of wish somebody would recognize me because I'm like the champion of champions.
Earlier, Ash definitely had some attitude that, 90s 2 did in that way. Current Ash doesn't really have any of that.
Oh, man. Well.
But you saying that does also extend to just in general. So his relationship with like Brock and Misty, it just hasn't evolved at all, which is particularly weird because so there was his journey through Kanto and Johto, the first two regions. Misty was there, and it's pretty clear that there was supposed to be something romantic between the two of them. And then throughout other series, there would be these moments where, maybe Misty would show up for an episode, or he would be talking about her to one of the other characters. And the show would still clearly hint at the romantic feelings. But when she shows up back on this, it's just like there's none of that, and they're just platonic friends, and their relationship, there's kind of nothing to it. Like, they're just friends without any... It doesn't really feel like they have much more of a deep bond than just, like...
Friends with their benefits.
General friends. No, like, what I mean
friends
is...
With
they've been through a lot, They've been through literally life-threatening situations. They have saved the world, etc. And when you think about how other series will write characters who have been through these events and it kind of forges a deeper bond between people when they've been through these, harrowing experiences and they've, literally had to save each other. And it just feels like there's none of that there. Like, it feels like weird. Kind of like the bond like you or I would have, where it's like, we're friends, we're good friends, but like, there's not that like level of just like, oh, we've literally saved each other's lives, like we are forever intertwined in that way, kind of thing, right?
I mean, like there's still time, so like
true, but even something like a Power Rangers or kind of any like superhero writing, right? Like these characters have that like bond, that interconnection because they've had these experiences. Yeah, it's like Pokemon just doesn't really acknowledge that. It just treats it like, well, this is just everyday life. Like, it treats it like they're the equivalent of just co-workers kind of thing.
Weird.
Like,
that is super
we're
weird.
Friends and co-workers. Yeah, so like the writing just feels a little bit awkward at times because of that.
It's like Ash is going to like get coffee in the break room and he walks by Misty like, hey man, Mondays, right?
Like they're friends. They're friends.
Okay,
it's like, say, The Office or something, where maybe that's a bad example because a lot of them are antagonistic to each other. But
like a fun way, though.
It's. I mean, you know what? It's like a Friends, where these people have a deep bond of friendship and in some cases romance, but they don't have that sort of like we have saved each other's lives in a way where no matter what, even if we drift apart, you will forever be a part of me kind of thing. Yeah. And like that it's just weird that they have that, right? I get it. It's a kid's show, but it's one of the reasons why I'm very excited about the next series, Horizons, because it does seem like the writing is a little bit more mature and it does have those kind of things where it's nice. Like, well, no, these characters are forever bound because of these kind of events. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That does seem kind of weird. I mean, if you have these two characters, like you said, that have these have gone through these situations where they've saved each other's lives. I mean, look at the Mewtwo movie on its own. Like even just that, it's like you guys almost
turns to
died.
stone,
Ash did
and
die.
he was supposed to be dead. And Misty and everyone is crying over him. And it's like the writing of the characters is like, that's just not there.
Yeah.
Misty isn't, just like hugging Ash tenderly and just, being like, stay safe, man. We've been through a lot kind of thing.
I kind of find that happens sometimes with anime and anime movies where like they will, in the show, they act a certain way, and then the movie comes up and it's just like there's a little bit of a offness to it, or like things are maybe like a little too dramatic or whatever. I find that sometimes happens. Maybe that's this case, but I don't know.
I think it's just the writing on this is very kid focused, and they just don't. They just didn't want to have these super emotional things or like really acknowledge the danger of it all in many ways. Also, like Ash kind of just getting towards the more end of things. So they're on these journeys, they go through these things, but eventually they're getting close to home.
Right.
And so Ash just, they basically come to the sort of fork in the road, and Misty's sort of like, well, Cerulean's this way. Until next time, Ash. And Brock is like, Pewter City is this way, so see, Ash. And you're like, it's fair in this world, because for them, this isn't the end of the journey at all.
Yeah,
they're still 10-year-old kids. They still have a lifetime ahead of them.
See you tomorrow, bud. Yeah.
Plus, it's a little weird. It's not this more emotional farewell. Team Rocket actually gets a really emotional farewell.
Okay, I have heard the Team Rocket thing was like actually really cool.
Yeah, it's like they almost have this like, we're gonna break up. I hate you guys, but then they decide like, no, we are together forever, no matter what.
Fuck yeah, Team Rocket, right or die.
Yeah, I will say we will definitely so Ash's voice did get recast. The Ash of today is not the Ash when that series aired in 97. It's a different voice.
Yeah.
I think the original was male. Now I know for sure now it's female. I'm not sure about originally, but
I don't know.
The voice actor for James, I believe. I don't want to misstate this. I know he came out and said he had cancer. I think he may have even passed away. I could be wrong about the passing away, though. I will say that, but we're probably never going to see these same Team Rocket characters because of that. I mean, maybe, in Japan, I don't know about the voice acting situation there, but it almost seems certain that even if Ash came back, Team Rocket probably wouldn't, that we probably have really seen the end of them.
Yeah,
but like they had their farewell, they got to meet a bunch of their old Pokemon.
That's cool.
There are some heartwarming moments with some of this. And basically, so to get to kind of how it all ends, which is, actually, there's one other episode I want to talk about, which is they have one episode where like Ash is just calling his mom, and she's like, "Oh, hey, sweetie, by the way, you should meet us up in the Pokemon Center in whatever town. Your dad's coming for a visit." He's like, "Wow, Dad, I haven't seen him forever."
He has a dad?
So they have mentioned his father a couple of times throughout the series. And here's the thing, we don't actually get to see his dad in this because he gets tangled up trying to help somebody, and so he's late to arrive. And she's like, "Oh, your dad said hi. You'll hopefully see him next time he's around." But here's the thing about Ash's dad.
Yeah.
His dad doesn't matter.
No.
At all. Because his dad isn't going to be somebody famous or important in this world. It's not like they're going to reveal it and be like, "Oh, his dad was actually Lance, the Pokemon champion of the Kanto region." Right?
What if it was Giovanni? Which is what everybody assumes.
So I see that you two have enjoyed the Pokemon on Ice stage musical.
Why, yes. I, too, am an intellectual.
I'm not joking.
I know.
The Pokemon on Ice stage show, it hints at Giovanni being his father, but the Pokemon company has come out and said, like, no, that's not who his father is. Like,
but that's fair, actually. To be fair, when he meets Giovanni, he's not like, "Hey, Dad." You know?
I don't know if Ash has ever met Giovanni. I forget.
I thought he did in this series. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think so. Because that's part of why the whole rumor works. But the thing is, his father's never going to be anybody important, because that becomes super weird then. That, oh, hey, here's 1,200 episodes, and it's like, oh, it's Lance. It's like, what, Ash never once had a conversation with somebody through any of his companions throughout it where he's like, oh, yeah, you know, my dad. I was talking to my dad, Lance. And they're like, oh, Lance who? Oh, Lance, you know, the Pokemon master of the Kanto region. Like, Gary Oak never was like, hey, Lance, the Pokemon master. Like, you just think about the idea of his dad being somebody famous, and you're like, okay, sure, maybe he had these conversations outside of the episodes of us seeing it, but that's just stupid at that point. Like, it's just bad writing at that point. And so his dad is always just going to be just some random dude who's probably like an office worker. And so I just
makes sense.
I don't get it. I don't need to see his dad because of that, but I also think it's stupid to try and like have this episode where they're like, we're finally going to do it. Haha, we didn't. Because it's like, I just don't care. It doesn't matter who his dad is. Like, you can just show him and you just go, it's Doug. Regular looking Doug.
It's cool. Danny Ketchum. Actually, that's the guy. That's Todd Ketchum right there. That's the guy.
Todd Snap.
Todd Snap. That was right. Yes. Here's Rando McRanderson, the guy who was Ash's dad.
It's just it's a weird episode.
They could have just done that. I think that'd be fine.
I did genuinely enjoy these episodes. I actually think they're a real good just trip back through memory lane. We're going to show you a bunch of his old Pokemon. Like, there's literally an episode where at one point there's a Mankey who has a hat, and Ash has to trade him his hat, and you're like, sure, yeah, that's a nod back to in the first series. Ash literally got a Mankey that stole his hat, became his primate. He left that primate behind. It's one of the few Pokemon we've never seen come up again.
Yeah.
But basically, we get to the final episode. It's mostly just Ash at home in Pallet Town with his mom, relaxing. He does a couple of like tasks for Professor Oak in that, but eventually it's just like, you know what, Mom? I'm going to set out another journey. And walking along, literally comes to fork in the road. It's like, well, Pikachu, what should we do? And I forget, Pikachu kind of like says something, and he just throws a stick up. The stick kind of lands this way, so he walks down the path this way. And that's basically how it ends. It's just, Ash, the journey, still going to continue. We don't get to see it.
I mean, that makes most sense to me. I mean, like, why wouldn't they do it that way?
Because it's a problem of like, what else can they do? Because he's a 10-year-old kid. It's not a case of he's a 35-year-old man like you, the person who has watched this series from the very beginning.
Settling down.
And so we could have that thing of,
I got too many Pokemon.
He finally accomplished his goal. And actually, the thing that this does is, even though he is the champion of champions, he implies, no, I'm not a Pokemaster, because a Pokemaster is somebody who's friends with every Pokemon. And I don't mean one of every Pokemon.
I mean one of them.
Every single living Pokemon.
That's not feasible. You can't do that. That is not accomplishable.
Ash has lived almost 30 years in less than a year, so it's not 100% unfeasible.
This is One Piece going. This is the middle of the season of the series thing, isn't it? This is like, like we could do 2,000 more episodes.
This arc is the final arc of One Piece.
Okay, well, fair enough. But for One Piece, but
I wouldn't trust that. But
but like seriously, with Pokemon, like this is, I mean, I think it'd be fine if they had one like, here it is 10 years later, he's just settled down, whatever, it's fine. Whatever.
He would only be 20. That would still be too young to have settled down.
He's settling into Pallet Town, let's say it's 15 years later at least.
He's still only 25. In this economy?
Yeah, that's true. He's got to get going. This is grind time,
he's gonna have to work until he's 75 in this economy, Tristan.
Not in Pokemon land.
They don't seem to have a real economy. So.
No, he's the champion of champions. Everything's utopian there.
Yes, it really is. No, I don't dislike the idea of him going off and continuing his adventures because it just makes sense. He's Ash Ketchum. Of course, he's always going to want to go off and just continue his adventures. It's also why I don't think this is the end of Ash's story. I don't know if it will be a case of in the new series, in Horizons, that Ash will make a cameo. I suspect most likely what they will want to do is not necessarily have it 100% sort of be the idea of like, this is a separate universe from the Ash Ketchum universe. I don't quite think they'll go for that. So I expect there will probably be the odd either cameo or nod towards stuff from the Ash Ketchum Pokemon series, let's call it.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe a
Ketchum
Professor
Saga.
Oak gets mentioned, or maybe somebody does show up from another region that Ash had encountered.
Oh, you sick? You get Ash trading cards? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Then you beat the other kid for them. That's how I went to my place.
They do actually have, like, series that are their own kind of separate storyline and universes. They did one probably like a decade or more ago now. It was called Pokemon Origins, where
that one was
the character
cool.
was more of a Red from the video games.
It was a lot more like it was a weird one. It was more like hyperactive in a way.
Yeah, it was also a lot darker. There is a scene where like Squirtle is using Bite on Charmander, and Charmander is just like on the ground in pain, screaming. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay, maybe if this was the Pokemon series, PETA would probably be right.
Okay.
Or they've done like oh my god, limited series things. They had one for Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh, sure.
Which is set sort of 200-ish years before the Ash series. And that one was set in the region known, my god, it became Sinnoh, but it was, I can't think of the name of the region, but that one was different. They have another one coming out soon called Paldean Winds, which is set in Paldea, the same as Horizons, but it's as far as I'm aware, they're sort of setting it as its own off story. Netflix has a stop motion series coming out.
Weird.
I think December, called Pokemon Concierge. They have one right now. It's actually pretty fun, called Pokemon Path to the Peak, where it is not set in the world of Pokemon. It's set in kind of our world about people playing the Pokemon card game.
Oh, I kind of like that. Okay, interesting.
Pretty fun. It's like they have other series. I mostly expect what they'll do is either they'll have kind of special episodes where it'll be like, hey, maybe here's like one episode or like a limited run of episodes of here's Ash in the Paldea region, or here's a movie or whatever. I fully expect that they still wheel Ash out every now and again.
Of course, yes, they do.
And really,
he's the famous character.
Possibly they try a reboot. I don't think that would work, but I could see somebody eventually trying that.
I could see it too.
And I do think that was part of why they also had Ash go off on that journey. It was clearly a like, hey, look, if this Horizons thing with these new characters and all that, if we see like the numbers tanking,
then
we're going to pull that ripcord, and oh my god, Ash is here and he's going to take over the protagonist, because that actually happened in the sort of third generation series.
Wait,
Pokemon.
it didn't it? Because they had brand new characters. Then I remember this now. I've seen this.
Quest not Master Quest, Advanced Advanced Battle? Yeah, Advanced Battle, I think it is where it starts. Season 8, Battle Frontier. So the one set in Generation 3, where it's set in the Hoenn region, and originally it kind of was supposed to be that the character May was kind of main protagonist, and Ash was more of this Brock Misty mentor figure. But I forget why, but they kind of just decided, like, you know what, Ash is the main protagonist, and then it just kept going like that from there.
That's fair.
So I think they were clearly trying to do that with Horizons of hey, just in case this doesn't work out, we're going to do this. Horizon reception seems to be pretty good.
That's good.
I don't expect them to do that, but I'd be shocked if this was the last we saw of Ash.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up, two things. Okay, the ending of Pokemon. Now we know how it ended. That's great. Two alternate endings. He walks off into the distance on the other path that he goes off onto. Alternate ending A, it is the 20 years later thing, and he's like, training people, or like he's got his own gym. Pallet Town is like on the map, baby, that kind of thing. Or he walks in the alternate path, encounters all the people that are basically the parallel universe evil versions of his own original cast. Like Weird Misty, Weird Brock, Weird Professor Oak, fucked up Team Rocket and
Pokemon
Mewtwo.
has definitely done alternate universe stuff. I mean, there are literally Pokemon that are, mastery over space or time, or alternate universes, Giratina. So for the first one of the idea of skipping it 20 years later and, showing adult, I think the main problem with that just goes back to some of the stuff I was saying around the way that the character relationships are written, that kind of doesn't work where, there are characters and companions Ash has had along the way that have had romances, but in general,
didn't he
the characters
kiss
just
somebody
kind of,
at some point? I can't remember now.
Oh, he's kissed a bunch of people.
Player.
Kind of, yes. Unintentionally, let's say. He's never shown romantic feelings for anybody other than Misty, as far as I'm aware.
I just love Pokemon so much. And Misty.
Yeah. But that's kind of the problem. Is okay, you can skip it ahead 20 years, but that's not going to matter because Ash is still going to be Ash, and you're not going to write these characters of, oh yeah, well now I have a wife and kids, so I kind of gave up on this thing. It's just going to be, okay, they're still the same character, just in an adult's body is the problem, and so it just
fix on that one a little more. Just to reiterate on this one a little more. So what if he was 20 years later, he's got a wife and kids, but it was just a direct comparison to the Irwin family, where him and his entire family are like Pokemon masters, all of them, just wrecking shit Pokemon wise. Mindset, grind set.
You're not going to care about who that wife is because she's just going to be some.
Even if they Misty.
Make it, but even if they make it Misty, it's the problem of.
It's Brock.
We've spent closer to 20 years than not of him not really showing that much in terms of feelings for Misty, other than the odd hint, and then also having this kind of last hurrah with her, and there just being nothing between them that way.
Bye, Ash.
It would be weird. And any of the other companions, it would just be like that, where you just go, fine, you can make them together, but it doesn't matter. I don't have any real investment in their relationship, and that's kind of the problem with the idea of ever really getting into adult Ash and showing it is nothing changes with that. It's he's still just going to be Ash. He's still just going to be going off doing his adventures.
Yeah, true.
It's
not going to change.
If there was something that we had seen Ash slowly, not just emotionally mature, but also, hey, he won the Alola championship. So now he has to take on these roles and responsibilities of a champion and has to go out and do these kind of things. If we had seen some of that and then they do a time skip, you've got some investment into the idea of sort of Ash's career and life, but we just don't have that. So I would just rather he is, at this point, forever a kid, because to ever have him become an adult, for me to feel like that matters, for me to feel like there's any payoff, they would need to have another 50 episodes of the show to slowly build up to that and show that, hey, he's not just like to give an example. I'm trying to think of like other cartoons where they're kids. It'd be like if you just took the original Digimon series, and I don't even mean like Adventure 02. If you just took the kids from Adventure 01 and then went like, hey, here's them 15 years later, they're adults. It's like, okay, cool, but I don't really care too much about them as adults because I haven't gotten to see them mature from being childlike into why this character took this career path, or I don't really care about them being married to this, person that we never met in the original series. It wouldn't matter. So I hope they mostly leave Ash as a kid forever.
They will. Like I said, ripcord. There's no way they're making out old Ash. All right, so with option 2, just to kind of like finish that one off, he goes the opposite path, the alternate path, and he finds all the weird versions of his friends and all the weirdo versions of the Pokemon. Everything's messed up. It's like a weird negaverse, and he just comes running back to the crossroads and goes back in the same path he originally took. Just does it all over again.
He's already in the universe with the weirdo Pokemon.
That's fair.
I mean,
Dunsparce?
No, I hate Dunsparce. Tristan, let me tell you about Mr. Rhyme.
No, I don't
Imagine
want. I don't
Mr.
want you
Mime
to.
evolved, and it looked like he went from. Because Mr. Mime looks like he sneaks into your house and sucks on your toes while you're sleeping.
Can't confirm he
Mr.
does.
Rhyme looks like he likes to invite kids to sit in his lap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for our show. Anything more you want to say about Pokemon before we leave it off on that note?
I'll just say, while I did not watch the majority of the episodes, there's 1,200 of them. I probably only watched. I watched all the way through the Johto Championship, so I've watched probably somewhere's in the range of, if I include that and some of me checking in, maybe around 300 episodes, so about a quarter of it. It still was a big part of my childhood, and it's still weird to say farewell to this character, but I think they mostly handled it pretty well, and I'm excited for the new series and some fresh air into the Pokemon anime.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, when I heard it was ending, I was like, oh, that was my childhood as well. But, oh, dear God.
That's Mr. Rhyme.
Anyway, I thought
he's a creep.
I when I heard it was ending, I was like, oh, that's my childhood as well. But then I was just like, I haven't really. I was more so flabbergasted that I was still with Ash this entire time. But then I also wasn't, because like things like The Simpsons exist. Anyway, you should. I think we should wrap this up.
Yep.
So go to our Twitter, which is at EIFNIR. I refuse to call it X, even though Elon Musk is flapping around crying about it.
They still call it Twitter half the place, so even they refuse to call it X.
Yeah, they do. Anyway, go to our Twitter page, which is at EIFNIR. It's the place you go to where we want to talk about Pokemon, I guess. Not me. You know what?
No, you're going to have to talk about Pokemon too.
Yeah, ask me all your Pokemon questions. I will tell you everything that you should know about Pokemon.
You're going to have to get involved in the Poltegeist discourse happening right now.
Sure, I will. I bet you my opinion is better than everybody else's.
Probably.
You should go to our Spotify, iTunes, YouTube play page. Watch, listen to the show, share it with your friends. That'd be friggin' awesome. Because Lord knows that the thing that Pokemon has taught me more than anything is that sharing is caring. But also, you should not share that much. Yeah, help others. But stranger danger, because don't get your shit stolen.
Oh, it definitely teaches you about stranger danger.
Yeah.
Like Team Rocket.
Yeah.
Ash is an idiot and somehow hasn't been able to ever recognize them once after 1,200 episodes.
Somehow always caught in every one of their traps.
Yes.
Yeah. Avoid strangers, but share our show with your friends. You know what? Share our show with strangers as well. That's fine too. I do that, technically. Every time on Twitter. Also go to our friends' site, djdane.com. Let's go. Those are music, djdane.com. Go there, listen to his great tunes, and catch him in like a little ball, and then shove him inside Bill's PC, never to see the light of day again.
It checks out. That's what I do with most of my Pokemon.
Do you ever address like how many Pokemon Ash has caught and just shoved into that PC?
Well, he doesn't shove them into the PC. They go back to Professor Oak's ranch.
And they releases them into the ranch, and then if he needs a Pokemon, transfers them. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. God, that technology, though. Transferring, like, tangible creatures through the internet.
The technology in the Pokemon world gets weird. They also have, like, just planes, like hover cars to get around sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a weird, like, Dragon Ball Z, like, not futuristic enough, but still also in the future.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for another episode of... I lost it. Tune in next time for another Electro Winnings episode of Everything is Finally Gets Ruined. See ya.
Say it.